My name is Yeong Kim, and I'm a faculty member in the Human Development Family Sciences program at the University of Texas at Austin. There are 8 things to consider when drafting an email to a potential faculty member if you're interested in applying for a PhD program. Applying for PhD programs can be expensive, with each application costing anywhere from $50 to $100 or even more if you're an international applicant. So in order to make sure you're making the best use of your money and time, you want to probably send an email to a faculty member first to find out if they are accepting a PhD student before submitting the application. Keep in mind, some programs like counseling psychology or clinical psychology programs, some faculty members get as many as 300 applications per faculty member and therefore cannot respond to those emails and may even state on their website that they do not want student inquiries as to whether they're taking a student. Hopefully those faculty members that you're interested in who may be in a PhD program in clinical psych, counseling psych, who get anywhere up to 100 to 300 applicants will already state whether they are or are not accepting a student so that you don't have to send an email. Many times though, faculty members do not state whether they are taking a student or not. That means you will need to send an individual email to that potential faculty member to find out if they are accepting a student so you can decide whether you want to apply for that program. And there are 8 things I recommend when drafting an email to a potential faculty member to find out if they are taking a student. The first thing you want to do is, of course, state your name and whether you're currently pursuing a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. And some students may already be in a gap year and being in a position like a project coordinator role. That is fine too. You just want to state in the beginning what your current role is, student, and a bachelor, master's, or whether you are not currently in school and in a professional type role that's preparing you for a PhD program. And when you state your name in that first line of the email message, I strongly recommend having created a website to represent yourself so that you can hyperlink it with your name. Sometimes students will not have any presence on the web, or the first link that comes up may not be the person that they want to represent. So it's important to have a hyperlink to a website that you may have created. There's free ones you can create, for example, on Google website, so that the link that the potential faculty member clicks on does represent how you want to be presented. The second thing you want to specify is who is the current PI you're working with or a faculty member that you have previously worked with, hopefully somewhat related to the field that you are trying to go into, so that that person's name would be recognizable. Most likely, if you're a trainee or a current student, your name would not be recognizable to that faculty member you are interested in working with, but the PI you're working with is probably a recognizable name. And so having identify who is the PI you're currently working with and hyperlinking to that person's professional profile will help identify the person that you are working with to that potential faculty member you're writing to. The third thing you want to state is clarify how your research interest aligns with that potential faculty member's research. And it's important to state whether you have actual experience to showcase how that research experience is aligning with that potential faculty member's research, and specify whether that experience was sparked through your current research assistant position, maybe your honors thesis, or potentially even your master's thesis. And it's very important that whatever research that you state is aligning with that faculty member's research, and hopefully the potential faculty member has updated their website that specifies what research they are currently doing. The fourth thing you want to do is identify at least 2 papers that exemplify the type of research that you want to do with that potential faculty member. And these papers that you select are going to be very important. You want to probably choose a pretty recent paper that was published within the past 3 to 5 years. You want to make sure that publication is identified by not only the year of the paper's publication, but also the name of the journal and the title of the paper. And it's very important that students select papers where that potential faculty member they want to work with is listed as a first author, second author, or last author. The first author position means that that person conceptualized the paper and wrote the majority of the paper. The second author typically had a very heavy influence on shaping that paper, for example, doing the data analyses. And the last author position signals that it is a corresponding author or senior author supervising that research, typically from that person's funded research. So it's critically important that when you do identify the 2 papers that you discuss in the email, that it is a first, second, or last author publication. Students in the past make the mistake of selecting papers like kind of in the middle of the authorship order. Those papers are not considered seminal to my research program, and therefore it is not a good idea to choose those kinds of articles. The fifth important thing to consider is state how you want to expand the research that potential faculty member is doing and what experiences you bring to the table to help move the research that you want to do from the previous research lab to a new direction that they may have talked about in the future direction section of the papers that they published. It may be a good idea as you're wrapping up the email to mention one additional paper that speaks to your research interest that was published by the faculty member that you are writing to. Please directly ask, are you taking a student for starting in XXX? And therefore, you can get a direct response as to whether it's going to be worth your time to submit an application. And lastly, the 8th thing you want to do is you want to attach a copy of your CV or resume. And I recommend also in your signature line of that email message, have LinkedIn page hyperlinks, ORC ID page, and a Google Scholar page if you have published, so that all of that can be presented together. So in summary, first, state your name, where you are currently at, what position you're at. Second, state the last PI or the PI that that faculty member will most likely know. Third, state how your research will align with that potential faculty member. Fourth, identify at least 2 papers that sparked your interest in applying to that faculty member's research lab. And remember to only select papers where that potential faculty member was a first author, second author, or a last author. Fifth, expand on how you plan to expand the research lab is currently doing into new directions, and how your previous experiences can help bring that new direction into fruition in the new lab. Sixth, mention potentially 1 additional paper that faculty member published as you're wrapping up the email. 7th, directly ask if they're taking a student. And 8th, attach a copy of your resume or CV and have hyperlinks to your LinkedIn page or CID page, your personal website, or your Google Scholar page, so that the way you want to present yourself is presented accurately in the email.